I have just arrived and I can see, I've not even opened the gate and I can see a problem. At least two problems. Shall we go and have a look? And there might be more than two problems, but there's two that I can see. It is a bank holiday weekend and I thought there might be people down here, possibly maybe even in the grounds. Two sheep. They're not actually sheep, they're rams. An older ram and what looks like a, not a baby ram, but a younger, what would that be called? Is that a ram? I don't really know. Listen, I think I can see where they maybe got in. I've not actually walked the perimeter for a while, and it's not something that I do habitually. But I'll have to now because we've got invaders. So we're up at the top of the land, if you like. You can just see the roof of the building through the trees there. That's the top of the hill. It's usually covered in bracken in the summer, and this is all kind of bracken around about here. But here's our fence line, or what would this be, our south fence line, I think. And it runs down there, and unfortunately over the years it has been damaged slightly. Interestingly, or not. These are the kind of things that we are doing that they tell us we shouldn't be doing, so we're not really supposed to be doing things like fence maintenance. It's on the lease, but it's not on the option to lease. There's nothing on the option to lease that says that we need to keep the fence line, you know, intact. Yet, here we are, having to keep the fence line intact. Now I don't mind, because we've kind of taken on the stewardship of the grounds of the building, so I don't mind. But it is a wee bit frustrating that that's not being acknowledged, some might say conveniently, by Borders Council and Roxbury Estates. Well, who would it be? I don't know, but actually it would be Craig Van Ian, but I think at this point the paperwork will have gone in and that Craig Van Ian Outdoor Centre Trust will have been dissolved. So, assuming Borders Council haven't put in an objection to that, which I think is what they said they do, although, well, I'm not a lawyer, but I don't know why they would do that, because the trustees of the Craig Van Ian Outdoor Centre Trust it was a limited company, a not-for-profit limited company. I can just see the sheep, our new sheep, through there. Anyway, yeah, that's a digression. So what I'm going to try and do is herd the sheep. I am now a sheep person, dog, a shepherd. I'm going to try and herd these sheep back down to that gap in the fence. Do they look familiar? Is that them? Or is that different sheep? I'm not sure if this fence is actually live. I don't want to touch it. Ow! It's live. That's a live fence. The thing is I was just gonna straddle that and get over it, but do you know what? I think I'm not. Imagine that, just an electric fence. I'm gonna have to cut that out. Anyway, let's see if the sheep are still on the grounds. If you see them before I do, let me know in the comments below. How that is going to work, I don't know, but comments are good for the algorithm. So if you see these sheep, these rams, put a comment and I'll read that and somehow go back in time, go forward in time, then go back and just put a comment below. Because that fence is solid until it gets down to there. It's the only place it could be getting, unless they're leaping over the fence somehow. Recently found out it is electrified. I'm now a fencer. A really terrible fencer. I pulled this back up. This had all kind of collapsed. The tree behind me had fallen down. That fell down in like one of the first storms. Pulled the old gate over this and just leaned it up against. This isn't going to do an awful lot, but maybe it'll be enough. What I have is a drinking water test kit from Amazon. I cannot speak to the efficacy, accuracy, reliability of said water test kits. So I'm going to turn the water on, run the tap for 5 minutes, and then RTFM. And I feel as if I should have a lab coat on because there's a lot going on here. And also, the writing's quite small, and I haven't brought my glasses with me. So I found the English instructions. That's a positive. Right, okay, so for these two, and we're testing for chlorine, alkalinity, cyanuric acid, cyanuric acid, some sort of acid, and total chlorine. So test strip. None of these have changed colour. I don't know what I'm doing. It did say to leave it for 15 seconds. Massive exaggeration. It's taken a lot longer than 15 seconds. The one on the left is chlorine, hardness, pH, total alkalinity, cyanuric acid, total chlorine, and you can see that it has changed colour, and it is changing colour. This one I've just done, it's not really doing anything, but well, iron's gone to 0, copper's way down close to 0, nickel is, gosh, if we had like a nickel thing here we'd probably make a fortune, but nickel's gone down to 0, and zinc is way down at 0, so I think we're okay on this. This one I'm a bit less sure about. Chlorine, I wouldn't expect it to be chlorine. Hardness is going down, it's down at probably maybe somewhere between 0 and 100, and it does say that hardness for drinking water needs to be 0, and it might go to 0. I'm not actually that concerned about that. pH, this is down between 6.2 and 6.6. It says on the box 6.5 to 8.5, so that's well within. And then we've got alkalinity, which is probably, that's still quite high. What's it say about alkalinity? 0. Right, okay. So it's not 0, is it? Cyanuric, that's a way down below that. That's definitely a 0, isn't it? So whatever that is, whatever that is, I think we're okay. And chlorine is a way down at 0 as well. This one, lead, 0, iron, no, copper, no. So that's all okay. That's all okay. So those two are okay. I mean, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that according to this, that is the case. The only one that I would maybe be a wee bit concerned about is possibly the hardness and the alkalinity. Let's try some of the other tests. I'll report back in a moment. Last test, bacteria. Now this is an important one because I think this is the one where we might fall down because that tank's not particularly clean. So it says about bacteria, wash your hands and dry them before testing. Open the self-sealing bag and be careful not to touch within the bag. Add water sample to the position between the 2 dotted lines. Seal the bag and keep it flat so that the water sample could wet the entire test paper. Place the bag at room temperature no lower than for 48 hours. I'm going to take a sample of water home and do this at home because I'm not going to be here for 40 hours. So I'm down by the ford. I want to show you something. I put a wee picture up on Instagram, but just in case it wasn't clear, this is our outflow. So the river splits in two, the Kale Burn splits in two, and this is actually an island here. This is an island. So there's the burn there, and then this part here, this is the part, this here comes from the bit of the river that flows through Towford's grounds and fills the pond. There used to be a waterfall here. The outflow here, there used to be a good drop of about 1.5 meters here. So if we go a bit further up, we're now back on the outdoor centre's grounds. The waterfall that used to be here, and remember as well, the river, the course was only about 2 meters wide. It wasn't massively wide. Well, look at the width of it now. It is a lot wider, as you can see. And if you look over here, the waterfall is now there, whereas it was there. So it's moved up, and the water has eroded all this land. None of this was here that long ago. None of it was here. And it's just washed all this away. And that's where our waterfall is, a muddy waterfall now. So even as I speak, this is eroding further back up. It's interesting as well, or it is if you're a boring old fart like me. You know when you're at waterfalls over rocks and you get those, it's almost like there's holes being drilled in the rocks. The action of the water over the eons, well here it happens in the case of weeks. The water comes in and swirls round. That was quite possibly the most boring thing I've ever seen on camera. Geology in action. God, I can't believe I said that. I'm looking forward to having young people back. I know I've said that before, but I am, because they do such a lot of work and they've got such a lot of energy, they really do. So I really appreciate when they come down and they do the work that they do. Yeah, definitely a team effort. Right, that's it for this video. We'll see you next time. And I'll try to make it a bit more interesting. I'll try not to witter on about whatever those whirlpool things are called. That was a wee bit embarrassing. I may cut that out. 72 hours have passed since the events you just witnessed. The bacterial water test was going to take 48 to 72 hours. I've done it. I got home, I put the water in the bag, followed the instructions, and as you can see, there are no yellow blotches on our bit of purpley blue card. Hopefully you can see that. So we don't have a significant bacteria problem. In fact, I would say that we don't have a bacteria problem. That's because all the rust in the system's probably killed it all. I'm joking. The point is we're still not going to drink that water. We're not. However, it does mean that if we wash our dishes and hands in the water, then our teeth won't fall out and we won't have some sort of terrible fallout situation developing at Towford. I think the water tests have been good, and this is the end of the video, finally. See you in the next one.